I'm joined by someone who needs no introduction, but Billie Jean King, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Alex. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I have three sets of questions, I would say, for you. Let's start with section number one, which is this campaign you're doing with
Silver.
Lyft. Tell us why you decided to do this partnership and what it means to you.
Most importantly, Ilana, my wife, and I, we take Lyft all the time. That's the one we try first. And so it was easy peasy. And we always talk to the drivers, at least I do. I'm always wanting to learn about everybody's life and all that. And we found that Lyft drivers are happiest with Lyft than other forms of transportation. That's important to me. I want the people who work to be happy, and I like business, so that meant a lot to me when Lyft came to me and came to all of us and asked us, and I said, that's easy. We already take Lyft.
So this Lyft Silver campaign, like, what does it actually do for the users?
Well, the main thing for older people is it gives us our freedom. It gives us independence. We keep going out. It keeps getting us out and connecting with others, which I think is huge. And it's fantastic because it's bigger words. You can get a live person, which I think is really important for older people to have someone to talk to.
And younger.
And help.
That should be universal.
Yeah,
I feel
totally.
like the whole world needs real people to talk to instead of AI chat bots to answer questions and so forth.
Yeah, well, the kids today feel so disconnected because they're only connected to their phone. Got to be connected to human beings. So anyway, also the cars they'll send will be easier to get in as a senior. So I think it's important for that too, because I do have, first of all, I have short legs, but sometimes, if you get a car that's too high, you can't get in. So it helps for us silver buttes to be able to get in the car easier.
What does aging mean to you? You're going back to college, right?
Yeah, I'm going back. To me, aging just needs more opportunity, as long as I feel good, and I do feel great. And I'm, playing tennis with Ilana, she was number one in the world in doubles. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize, and she's younger. So
How often do you play tennis?
We try to play ideally 3 times a week. If we can get 3 times, then I just kill myself. I'm sweating bullets, and but I know that I've read research, and you can live almost, especially with tennis, is the healthiest sport in the world, that I can live almost 10 years extra, and that's what I want. I want to be able to be vibrant though, and hope this brain keeps working.
I feel like for your efforts, primarily perhaps, but due to the progression of time and so forth, and through your sort of fight for equal pay, tennis for a while now has been on fairly equal playing field in terms of men's and women's, in terms of attention, in terms of dollars, in terms of TV ratings.
For sure.
For majors, at least, sure. Not the case for really any other major American sport. And so my question to you is, does that have to do with the fact that you happen to be a pioneer for this and got it there? Or is there something about tennis that allows that sport to be consumed by Americans in a more equal way that doesn't transfer to other sports?
There's 2 main reasons, really. Tennis in the 1800s, when it got started, had men only in the beginning, but only about, in 1877, the men played at Wimbledon. By 1884, the women were added. And because our culture has both men and women in it, is the reason I think it helped. I tried to get the men and women together, but we're still not there. I still pray before I'm out of here that we will be, but we started...
When you're saying together, meaning?
Oh, I want us to be the same association. See, we're independent contractors.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
We're independent contractors, so we can't be a union.
So ATP WTA 1.
I want one.
Yeah.
And that's my prayer for the future. We are working together more and more as the years have gone by. We did get to, the women got to equal prize money in 2007. Mm-hmm. The first one was in 73 in 72 I won, and I said, the women aren't coming back next year. But I also went out and got a sponsor because my former husband and I owned tournaments. So I understood the business side, and I liked it a lot. And every time an athlete comes up to me, they go, well, what should I do? I go, learn the business you're in. It's really important if you're going to really contribute. Because you can't ask and say, we deserve, we want more, we want this. And then I go, do you know how the teams are doing? Do you know how the league's doing? Do you know? No. Well, you only know the player side. You don't know the other side. You need both to figure out how to work together. And women's tennis was really, really ahead of everyone in that when we started our tour, there were 9 of us, called the original 9. We signed a $1 contract. We got suspended and everything, but that is the birth of women's professional tennis. September 23rd, 1970. 71, we had our first tour. And I remember thinking how important it was to make a lot of money, because that's the one fixed thing that people understand is money. Whether you work at a factory, whether you're president of a company, it doesn't matter. School teacher. So I knew money is the way to go, and I wanted to make over 100,000 that first year. Now remember, the LPGA started in 1950 with 13 members, but we went ahead of them in 1 year. I made 117 in 71. Kathy Whitworth made around 40,000 or something. Mm-hmm. And I think Willie Mays made 165 maybe. So I made 117. So it's, it was relatively pretty good. And so women's tennis, we really are, I think, the leaders in women's sports.
You're an investor now in a women's hockey league for the
Keep going.
WNBA through the Sparks,
Dodgers.
NWSL, right? Soccer.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Angel City FC.
Angel City, right?
That's right, we are.
I know the Dodgers, men's sports.
Thanks to Mark Walter and Kemba Walter.
Yeah. My question is it an inevitability that women's sports at some point in the future get to an equal playing field similar to what we've seen in tennis? Or are we reliant on people like yourself at the individual level that basically need to come up with a platform of this is more important, I'm bigger than the game in order to get there?
Well, I think the main thing is it always comes down to individuals. The reason the WNBA got started is it's NBA started it. The NBA is 78 or 9 years old. I mean, that's why they go, why aren't you making as much as the guys? You guys, look at the history. That's why history is so important. The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself. More importantly, you know how to shape the future because of it. But when no one knows the past, I was sitting in the president's box at the U.S. Open with David Stern, who was the commish of the NBA at the time. And he loved tennis. He played all the time. So I'm sitting next to him, and I'm trying to gear up enough courage to ask him. Because, we had the WBL, the other basketball, leagues had tried, and they aren't making it. Of course they weren't. You knew they weren't making it because they didn't have enough money. It's always about money. So I go, David, can I ask you a question? He goes, yeah, go for it. I go, would you promise me you will not let the WNBA fail? Please promise me that. He looked at me like that and said, don't worry, it won't. Why? Because he knew he had the NBA. He had the money behind it, the ownership. Even though the owners probably weren't thrilled in some ways, he convinced them to do it. And eventually they could either get rid of it or keep it. But the point is to get it started and have the financial backing that you need to get started properly. So you have a chance to make it. But that is the reason the WNBA has made it. Now you can say, well, the NBA is too involved. But without them, we wouldn't have gotten started. So we do have to figure out what the future holds and how to make it work.
It's interesting that that's not how we've seen the NWSL evolve, or it's not like the NHL has a huge investment in the...
Got that right. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
The PWHL?
Right, of course.
Yeah, they don't.
It does make it more difficult, perhaps.
It does make it more... There is no question it makes it more difficult.
Yeah. You, of course, were, as you said, founded the WTA, or part of that founding. The PIF has taken a fairly significant investment, partnership, Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. I'm curious your thoughts on that, because you're so well known for equal rights, human rights. Saudi Arabia historically has not had the greatest track record of equal rights. Does that rub you the wrong way at all?
It's a difficult one. I won't say it's easy, but I am a huge believer in engagement. That's where real change comes. You have to have engagement with people. I still probably don't know exactly how I think about it, but I understand why people go there. It's the money, it's the opportunity, but then I hear a story like this Muslim girl was watching Coco Gauff and got so excited that, you know, the way she's dressed, of course, she's totally covered. But I'm always wondering what that girl must have seen for the first time in her life, to see Coco Gauff out there winning, someone who looks like her. I always wonder, I'd love to talk to that girl and to say, what are you going to do with your life? So you never know how you're going to touch another person's life. And so I don't know what the real answer is.
The state of the game today, I think the women's tour is fairly wide open. It's hard to know exactly who's going to win a given tournament here
That's
or there.
for sure.
The men's side is
easy
different.
Peasy, right? With
It's the
Alcaraz
same, seemingly the same
Sherman.
two players now winning every tournament, coming off of a 15 to 20 year span where it was the same 4 players winning every tournament. Which is better? You've lived through both. The Williams sisters dominant at a certain point. Is it better to have a situation where it's the same few people winning every tournament for engagement and attention and the business, or is it better to have it wide open?
Well, you want both. In a way, you want, the women have unbelievable depth. I've never seen, like number 400, 600, you know, you always wonder maybe they can do a big upset. But I think from a media point of view, people like kind of a sense of certainty a little. And through the years, we've usually had at least that 2 top, like Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova. I think they've had the greatest rivalry ever of in any sport. 80 times they played.
Yeah.
Very rare. I don't think anybody else has played 80 times against.
Well, they both started young and they both had long careers.
They're like, you know, they're a couple of years difference in age, which really helped. Men's tennis will never have, I don't think, a Federer, a Nadal, and Novak Djokovic ever again. Not 3. We have 2 right now with Alcaraz, you know, and Sinner. They're fantastic. I'd like to see the women have 2 or 3 players. We have Swiatek, we have Gauff, we've got some great players up there, but they haven't solidified it yet. I'm hoping there'll be some of that soon. And every generation gets better. My parents used to tell us that, and I agree with them 100%. So I don't like when older players go, oh, you know, I'm so much better than they were. No, we're not. We're different. I do think there's a couple things I wish we could relay to the younger ones, but in general, they're bigger, stronger. Look at what they eat, the attention, the information. You know, I mean, you have so much better. Oh, I'd be so happy today with all this information. But I'm that type of person. Some players are not. They're like, just leave me alone, let me hit the ball or whatever.
You haven't taken that bridge over to pickleball yet?
No, I've played it a couple times, but I don't like the sound that much. But as long as I can play tennis, for me personally, when the ball hits the strings, it's magical. And with pickleball, I don't have that. It's like if you want to hit a top spin or a slice or pickleball's not quite, it's less sensitive that way.
Last question is, I'm sure you're asked about the Battle of the Sexes match all the time.
Oh, yes. Every day of my life.
Right,
oh, thank God you did this, Alex.
Well, this is what I was thinking. I was like, how am I going to be able to bring this up and ask you a question you have not been asked about this? Because I was racking my brain. I was like, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to ask her something she's already been asked.
You got to talk about it.
So here's my twist on it, okay? My twist on it is this, that there are children's books now, of course, that you're familiar with that talk about this and talk about you as a pioneer, and it's as I have read these books, I read the Who is Billie Jean King book to my kids.
Have you read the I Am?
I've seen the I Am. I haven't read the I Am. Anyways,
it's cute, man.
So when I talk about it, and I've gone back and I've watched the videos of Bobby Riggs and sort of how outwardly almost professional wrestling-like, sort of chauvinistic he was moving into the match, there's a piece of me that is exasperated that it took you beating him to open people's eyes to something that should be inherent, like the equality of men's and
so you're a young guy, that's why.
Right, and so I didn't live, of course, in 1973. So
73 was very different.
Here's my question to you, which is this. Clearly, at the time, that was not the case. But here we are now, 50 years later or so, and we're still seeing a lot of this kind of fight for equal rights. And of course, these things take time. But my question to you is, Are you exasperated or frustrated with how slow the progress has been for women's rights?
It is hard because I'm living it. I'm still alive. Yeah, when I look at young people, boys and girls and all genders, whoever they are, I look at them and go, some of them would change things. Men have the power, though. They're the ones that could get rid of sexism overnight, if they would ever what they perceive as their power, because they're in charge. And but I find that boys in every generation are getting better and better and better. And if you talk to women athletes, generally it's their father. My dad believed in me as much as my younger brother. And because my dad believed in me as much as my younger brother, men are so important in this equation. And sometimes I don't think they believe it. They think it's those women trying to get power. No, we're all in this together. But when you have a little girl or a boy, boys are really important because they have the power. They're the ones that can change things more even than probably the girls, at least faster. So I want all of us to think about each person is so important. I don't care who they are. If we think about each human being, that I want people to have equality. I don't want one to have more than another, especially under the law. You know, it's like, come on, we can do this. But we haven't, and you know, history does repeat itself. It goes up and back like that. So we just have to keep talking about it, keep showing it. But the men are really important to us, and obviously women asking for what they want and need, which is really hard. We're taught not to ask for what we want and need. We are totally taught not to do that. So like in women's sports, for instance, Kendall Coyne came to Ilana and asked us, would you try to help get a league started? Now, she asked what she wanted and needed. I looked at her and I said, you have no idea how brave you are, because most girls don't have the guts to even ask. But now we have a league because Kendall asked the question.
And now you're seeing it in women's basketball with the collective bargaining agreement coming up.
I know what's going to happen there. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, well, we'll see, right? We don't know yet.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's goes back to your earlier point of a clash between understanding the business and what's reality, but also having to ask and challenge the powers.
Gotta ask, but you gotta come up with a vision too. You gotta really be delicate. You gotta know what they want, what's in somebody else's self-interest.
Billie, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alex.